Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Friday night, March. No, I wish it was March. Friday night, April 3rd, 2026. Y'all gotta forgive me. I am like ready to do the infamous Mike Tyson yawn from AEW Dynamite a couple of years back. I'm fighting it. Good God Almighty. Oh man. I really went into tonight's episode of SmackDown going, all right, 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. This is going to be popping. Yo, we're going to be firing on all cylinders. And man, we are really, really, really paying for it when it comes to that third hour of SmackDown. We are really paying for it. I feel that Mike Tyson yawn coming on. It's a legit yawn. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I think I got one more in me. I tried to get it all out the way during the show intro. What's up, everybody? Lee Sanders with you guys. Hope y'all's weekend is off to a really good start. Mine's can't complain with the exception of what I had saw from SmackDown tonight. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. But no, it's been pretty good. I have been home alone for most of the week as my wife and mother-in-law, apparently they went on a cruise. I did not know they were going on a cruise until my wife literally sent me a picture. And it was like, oh, so that's what they up to. Here I was thinking they were just going to what is it called? Dolly World, Dolly Land. I'm thinking they was just going out to do that, but turns out they was doing, and I don't know why my wife didn't tell me, yeah, we're doing a cruise. Like, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why she didn't reveal that little detail. Not that, she's in trouble or anything like that, because she's not, but it's just kind of one of those, of all the things to mention, that's like a huge omission. Right there, like what the hell's up with that? Anyway, but no, I've had the place to myself all week, so between a little bit of work and mainly been doing my classes, studying and everything, taking care of the girls in between, I've mainly just been kicking back, relaxing and everything. So tomorrow is really gonna be the official, okay, I get to relax for a bit. Gonna be doing a little bit of straightening up around the house, and then maybe going into Saturday night, I'll watch NXT Stand and Deliver. We'll talk about how that full card is looking in a little bit. But yeah, beyond that, going into the weekend pretty good. Again, what was not good tonight was this episode of SmackDown. This was one of the most excruciating editions of SmackDown that I can recall within recent memory. I just was fighting any and everything sleep. I never thought I'd find myself saying this. I was more interested in watching a couple of reruns of Roseanne than this episode of SmackDown. I don't know if you guys got access to Cozy TV, but I've been checking it out the last couple of weeks, especially the past week and a half. And it's so funny because normally when I'm getting ready to head out the door for my classes, Highway to Heaven is on. And every time I see like the last 15 minutes of Highway to Heaven, and it looks like it's a really, really good episode. And I always kind of hang back and I'm trying to see how it's going to resolve itself. And then I'm jotting down a little note. Okay, this was season blah, blah, blah episode. Okay, yeah, I got to go back and check that out later. Like there was one episode they had showed this week where Ned Beatty had portrayed this TV dad. And I think the name of that particular episode is called That's Our Dad. And you had these two best friends, a boy and a girl, that were in the foster care system, if I remember right. And apparently there was talk about them being split up and going to different foster families, and they weren't trying to have that go down whatsoever. And so their whole thing was, oh well, we'll go on. That's our dad, the father, and whatever Ned Beatty's character's name was. Like they didn't know that it was make believe, everything that they were seeing on TV and all that, but they thought that if they could somehow speak to him, maybe he could give them a home and all of that. And then when they heard that the next season they were going to be expanding the cast as they were looking for two new family members to join the family, they were looking for a boy and a girl. That foster brother and sister, they were like, that's it. That's where we got to go. That's it. And so, yeah, I've been seeing like little things like that on Cozy TV. And then, of course, I've been seeing a lot of Roseanne. And I actually remember watching all of the first run episodes of Roseanne when it initially aired right to its series finale. But I've been coming across certain episodes and I've just been kicking back. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And just reliving the memories and all that. More interested in all that shit. More interested in Daredevil, Born Again. More interested in that. I was fighting with the remote control tonight, right down to the point. I actually put out a post on social media. I said, guys, yeah, we ain't talking SmackDown tonight. Like, I'm taking the night off. We'll come back. We'll talk about it on Monday. I really was not trying to do a post show tonight. But then I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, and I just kind of felt really bad because it was like, man, to those that had checked out the show on Monday and maybe were listening for on demand and the downloads, and they're like, oh, where's the Friday show? So that's why I went on ahead and said, okay, let's just go ahead and let's do it. But yeah, man, I there's so many other things I wish I could have been doing other than watching this SmackDown. And shout out to my colleagues and friends. I'm definitely looking at fellow podcasters like Jason Solomon, JD from New York. God bless these guys. I don't see how they can talk about SmackDown weekly, let alone dedicate an entire show that is just specifically talking about SmackDown. Yeah, you're going through some super chats and all that stuff as well from people and getting their thoughts about, whatever. But like, man, to be doing a show, I mean, just really stop and think about this for a second, right? Just really stop and think about this for a second. And we're going to burst the hole before anybody goes, well, Friday night is the death spot, when it comes to original programming. We're going to burst that little bubble in just a hot little bit. But just feel me on this for a second. We're talking about a Friday night. We're talking between the hours of 8 to 11 p.m., right? 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., right? So we're looking at that whole 3-hour block, basically. And then on top of all of that, we're going into the weekend. Spring-like weather is here. Most people at this point are definitely on spring break, and they should be coming back within the next week or two. Okay, so we got all of these elements that's going on. Yeah, we're on the road to WrestleMania and all that other good stuff and everything, right? Like I get that. I really I do. But man, if tonight was really your best sales pitch in regards to SmackDown tonight to try to get people all excited for WrestleMania, this was not the show to watch to try to get excited for WrestleMania. Because just watching this show alone was, in my opinion, really did not seal the deal by any stretch. Now, if you watched Monday Night Raw from this past week, you're like, okay, good show. WrestleMania card stacking up to be pretty damn good, looking like a pretty overall damn good solid card. Better in a lot of areas compared to last year. Okay, not bad for a sequel to WrestleMania Las Vegas from last year. Okay, not bad. But this show, good God Almighty, let's talk about some of this shit. We gotta unpack a lot from this show. First off, the mystery caller finally revealed. Now, I would have thought that WWE would have been like, yo, this is the carrot. By any means necessary, this is the carrot that we need to dangle over the viewer's head for the next 3 hours. Let's not blow our entire load in one segment. Let's stretch this out, right? Everybody's been speculating. They've been doing their own videos. They've been doing their own little editorial pieces and all that, a little countdown list, you name it. It's pretty much all been out there. Everybody's been speculating over this, right down to the point that before Chris Jericho made his return to AEW programming this week, we're going to talk about that, by the way, on this show tonight. A lot of people were under the impression that maybe Jericho was somehow one of those people that was the mystery caller for Randy Orton. Right? All kinds of crazy shit was out there. I even saw some people said Vince McMahon is the one that's been talking to Randy Orton this whole time. I definitely looked at that with a big ass raised eyebrow going, highly unlikely. But, okay. Everybody was just, it was a good list. Some of the names that was out there. I even saw Shane McMahon get an honorable mention. All kinds of cool names was on the list, right? But if you would have told all of those people that were not, I never fed into it. I never fed into it. My brain's been on other shit. I just want to be entertained at the end of the day, right? That's it. But if you would have told all the people that were trying to guess who it was and everything and poll them now, and be like, Pat McAfee, I bet you all of them would have been like, yeah, no. Never seen it coming, never even entertained it, not even mildly. Yeah, no. Then you got the head scratching kind of, okay, so how does this kind of make sense? How do we kind of make sense out of Pat McAfee being the one that's been in Randy Orton's ear, like of all the people? It was so funny, not funny, but there was one particular name that was not on the list that going into tonight's SmackDown, I would say right before SmackDown came on for about 60 seconds, there was a name that popped up in my head, and I said, wouldn't that be something as far as full circle type of storytelling and all that you wanted to do and everything? How badass would it be if it turns out Dave Bautista has been talking to Randy Orton this whole time? Wow, wouldn't that be something? Especially when you think about some of the things that Pat McAfee has said in his promo on Cody Rhodes tonight. I mean, just close your eyes, eliminate Pat McAfee, and put Dave Bautista right there in his place. Much more impactful of a delivery and all that. So, SmackDown in St. Louis and everything. Randy Orton coming on out there. Great ovation from the crowd. Nice, massive ass pop from the crowd and everything. Randy taking his dear sweet time, soaking it all in and everything. We are supposed to be booing for Randy Orton, right? I kind of feel like we're supposed to, but Jesus, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Randy Orton says to the St. Louis crowd that he's going to be going to Las Vegas promises that he's going to leave Cody Rhodes empty-handed at WrestleMania, as he's going to be walking out as the 15-time world champion. Gets a nice little pop from the crowd. He also talks about the fact that St. Louis, next time you're going to be seeing me, going to have that World Heavyweight Championship around my waist and everything. Throws it back in Cody's face. Yo, you told me that you wanted the Randy Orton of old. You wanted the Viper. You wanted me to listen to those voices, and that's exactly what I did. I saw what went down with you on Monday Night Raw at the Garden. I saw what was going on with your interaction there with Stephanie McMahon. And yeah, she knows me very, very well. She is absolutely right. So it's nice to see that Randy Orton from afar, he was watching what all had went down and everything. Good little stuff, okay? Cody Rhodes coming on out. Crowd, St. Louis, letting Cody have it. Nice little boos, all that good stuff. Kind of like what was going on here. I'm not gonna lie. I loved hearing the boos for Cody Rhodes. You can't help but wonder if at this point, if it's inevitable that we will get heel Cody Rhodes, right? This current, G Willikers, Cody Rhodes, enjoying his Wheatley vodka and all that other good stuff, getting buzzed. I mean, that's nice and everything, but we need that Cody Rhodes that's got that touch of evil. Because that's definitely what it's going to take to even try to square up and go toe-to-toe with the Viper Randy Orton here and everything. But anyway, WWE Champion Cody Rhodes comes out. Cody, not a man of words, takes off his suit. He is ready to throw it down. Randy Orton's in the ring waiting for him. Two of them, they start brawling and everything. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, we see Pat McAfee pretty much kind of coming from behind here and is getting in on the attack on Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you're kind of looking at this going, wait a minute here. Why is Pat McAfee jumping on Cody Rhodes? It is kind of weird because the timing, too, by the way, from Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett was definitely off. Now, see, if there was something that Maven should be like, just a tad bit off on the timing, just a tad bit off on the timing. This is where Maven can definitely do that little thumbnail poster joint, just a tad bit off. This is where it counted the most because what should have happened immediately as soon as we saw some weird individual come in and attack Cody, I mean, right there at the drop of the dime, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. What the hell? Who is that? Who's attacking? Wait, is that? No, it can't be. Wait, that's Pat McAfee? The hell is he doing here? Why is he attacking Cody? Like, what the hell? I'm at a loss for words, Joe. I can't help you. Yeah, they were not in sync from a production standpoint on that one. I'm not going to put the total blame on Joe and Wade. I think that's more to do with whoever was quarterbacking at the gorilla position, with the headphones, whether that was Triple H, Paul Levesque, or whoever it was, whoever the technical director was, there should have been some type of a countdown cue / heads up for Joe and Wade so they could be on it like right on freaking cue and everything. But yeah, it was definitely off. So, Pat, jumping Cody Rhodes. Now you're looking at this, just scratching your head going, how and why does this make any sense? Like, what the hell? Pat starts bringing up local sports teams. All right, you always got to go that route when you're trying to get that heat. What better way to establish yourself as a heel than going for that insult of the teams and all that? Okay, all right, we get it. Nick Aldis and the officials, they try to walk down to the ramp and get Cody out of the ring. Pat, Cody, they stop him. Next thing you know, Pat brings up how a month ago he was asked, and I remember this because we talked about this here on the show, and I didn't look any more into it. I did kind of pose the question about whether or not I missed Pat McAfee as part of the commentary team and all that, and I gave my personal opinion on all of that. But if you remember, a month ago, Pat did a Q&A on his social media account, and one of the questions that came his way, hey, buddy, one of the questions that came his way was whether or not he'd be open to returning to the WWE. And part of what he said was he felt the business passed him by. He thought the current product, you know, it was in a good spot, basically. It'd be all right without him, and he was like, never say never, but that's pretty much where he left things during that Q&A. Well, tonight, full pipe bomb nuclear moment right here for Pat McAfee. He says that the current product is absolute shit. This is, of course, on the USA Network. They bleeped him, but he did say absolute shit. Randy called him up one day and talked about how the business has gone in a direction that no one likes. Pat brings up lapsed fans, basically from the Attitude Era, and how those fans helped launch WWE, helped take WWE to new heights, and how those same fans that from the Attitude Era going right into the Ruthless Aggression Era, that basically they got left behind somehow. Yes, this was the promo that Pat McAfee was cutting here. He also talks about the fact that now, with the current product, Pat McAfee has to watch 2 5-5 guys and Iron Man matches for a week straight with no rhyme or no reason. And yet they got Randy Orton right there. He insults WWE Unreal and brings up the fact that, we got Randy Orton. He's still here. The WrestleMania tickets, everybody has been talked about. Podcasts, websites, you name it. Everybody's been talking about it. Talk about how Mania tickets have been struggling. To this day, there's still Mania tickets still available when Randy Orton is still around. Also talked about the fact that they are fresh off of the worst rated episode of SmackDown of all time so far this calendar year. Definitely no lies being told right there. And all of this is because currently there is a puppet of a champion that is representing everything that those same fans that got left behind, those same fans that helped bring in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, they got left behind. Well, now the source of all of this is on the shoulders of Cody Rhodes. So with that in mind, Randy continuing to beat the crap out of Cody. That was kind of hilarious too, as Pat kind of just broke and said, yeah, kill him. Kill him, Randy. I kind of love that quick little sidebar and everything. Pat telling Cody, look, I'm the one that told Randy, kill everything. It's not just about the 15th world title. It's because the business Cody is leading is terrible, and Randy is going to save the fucking business. Yes, he said fucking, but it got censored. This was, look, the segment, the promo was good. Wrong person delivering it. Now, do you remember what I just said about Big Dave Batista? Just close your eyes and just imagine. Replace Pat McAfee, put in Dave Batista. Much more impactful. And then the history between Batista, Orton. I mean, enough said. You ain't even got to say anything more, right? Like, there you go. But Pat McAfee, where I have a big problem with this, it's like, wait a minute here. So you do a handful of wrestling matches and you basically get to share the ring with one of the all-time greats, definitely a future Hall of Famer in multiple organizations besides WWE. Like, I'm looking at the actual Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm looking at the Cauliflower Alley Club Hall of Fame. Like, I mean, Jesus. There's like so many that's out there that Randy Orton is going to be part of in the very near future. And yet you are to lead me to believe that this, you could tell me how many times Pat McAfee has grown up watching the product and all of that good shit. But at the end of the day, Pat McAfee was a glorified fan that, because of upstream factors, when you think about it from a sociological perspective, he was given these opportunities that helped play an impact into who all ultimately was part of his social network. But if it wasn't for those resources, particularly those external resources, those upstream factors that help benefit the fuck out of Pat McAfee, he wouldn't even got a little whiff of the fucking ring of all the people. I mean, it looks good, right? And for those of you that's tuning in, the segment looked real good, didn't it? But when you really take a step back and you're really thinking about it, marinate on it, really think about it, you're going, wait a minute. Randy Orton, like, he is from, like, what is he, third generation? Right? So wrestling is definitely in his blood. So you're telling me that, nah, it wasn't his dad, it wasn't his uncle, it wasn't insert. Nah, it wasn't, a Jake the Snake Roberts. No, it wasn't freaking Lance Storm. No, it wasn't Ricky Morton. No, it wasn't Jim Cornette. No, it wasn't insert. Nah, it was this guy with all of this nice little thing called, yeah, a little bit of hard work, but it's definitely, having a nice little bit of money, and with that money comes the ability to tap into multiple platforms and all that other good stuff, that comes with it, right? Again, all about the social networking and all that. No, none of those people. The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a wrestling man. No, none of that. Oh, it's fucking Pat McAfee, a guy that had his butter on his bread real good in the fucking NFL, and not even a quarterback, not even a left tackle, not even a guard, punter. That's who reaches Randy Orton. The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a punter, man. I mean, what the fuck? Seriously. This was absolute fucking comical. I don't know what WWE, I'm curious to know, like, what the original plan was here. Because I refuse to believe that, no, Pat McAfee was always the guy we wanted to go with. I fucking refuse to believe that, because if this was always your one option, I'm going, whoever is part of your creative writing team, fucking fire them all. You need to start from scratch, blow the shit up. Shout out to my guy, Remember When, on YouTube. He literally just posted, speaking of Roseanne from a couple of minutes ago, he literally just posted a episode tackling 15 facts you didn't know about the series Roseanne. And one of the things that he talked about was, and I did not know this, but apparently Roseanne, she was very, very hard when it came to the writing. And she felt that with all these big shot writers that were all around and everything, all of them really did not truly understand what a blue collar, low middle class or low income kind of family, they didn't really understand what that was all about, as she would be really, really hard on them. And that came in due time. That type of power that she had, because she originally was banging heads with the show creator, and eventually she won the show creator over to where she very fast, I think, like as of the second season on, she got the executive producer credit, and she would really go in hard on the writers. And when they would try to stand their ground and say, no, 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 this is going to work, this is funny, if there was a joke that did not land with the audience, she would shout out a number. And basically, it was kind of her way of basically, okay, this writer had came up with this joke. And if she said that number, then 9 times out of 10, yeah, you probably weren't going to be writing for her in the show again and everything. Josh Whedon, very early in his career, actually had wrote a Roseanne episode. Go look it up. Good stuff. Good stuff. But I mentioned that to loop that back to WWE. Like, if this was the absolute best that your writers could come up with, I don't know, man. We heard those rumors a while back about ChatGPT being the new anonymous writer for WWE. That actually isn't a really bad idea at this point. I, you know, this was really weird. Yeah, they don't know about us. I mean, that was the only thing that was missing from Pat McAfee. Randy, they don't know about us. They don't know our pain. They don't know what we going through. They don't know how we feel. And it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean we? We French all of a sudden. What the fuck you mean? We. This this was just this was bad. This was bad on so many levels. I mean, for people trying to, well, them going with Pat, it makes general sense and everything. But to try to have that casual WWE fan, let alone that hardcore WWE fan, go, yeah, the current product is weak. The current WWE product, it fucking sucks, man. I'm going, wait a minute. Is that the Kool-Aid? Now do you see what I'm talking about here, people? Is this the Kool-Aid that we're really gonna go here with? Hey, here's why, with Pat McAfee. Here's why this shit makes sense. And it's like, so wait a minute. So Trick Williams, like, what is he, the 5'5" midget that's wrestling for 45 fucking minutes? Carmelo Hayes, is he the 5'5" little midget? Damian Priest, Alistair Black. And you know what? I'm gonna give this dude his props because he's starting to really fucking grow on me. And I mean that in the most respectful way. I'm starting to dig his work. Kit Williams, I'm finding myself sometimes just doing the little hip strut and all that, like randomly, like for no fucking reason. And my wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just doing the kit." And yeah, he's growing on me. He's entertaining as hell and everything. Um, we got Obafemi. We fucking got Javon Evans. I mean, just count the fucking ways as far as the amazing talents that we have. And I haven't even shown NXT any love yet, but we've got Joe Hendry. We've got uh Tony D'Angelo. Great 180 that's pretty much been done with his character and all that. We got that Miles Bourne dude. He's fucking awesome. Like, there's so many talented fucking people that are way past the height of 5'5". And we haven't even shown love to the women yet. Right? I mean, my God. By the way, that Kendall Gray versus Lola Vice from NXT this past week. If you guys have not checked out NXT in a good minute, I would highly, highly encourage you. If you're going to do a lot of fast forwarding, like that's fine, but leave it on the main event match between Lola Vice and Kendall Gray. That Kendall Gray, my God, this girl only has like a handful of matches under her belt, and just where she is at this stage in her career right now as a up and coming, wrestler, like future is very, very bright for her. Great pickup by WWE. Lola Vice, look, you're only as good as your dance partner. And I mean, the two, they just, my God, poetry in motion. It's just so fluid, so lucid. I'm telling you, I could watch them for a couple of months just going at it with one another. I mean, those two girls, they really put on a fucking classic this week. So it's really hard, like, for, I would think, even the casual fan, after hearing this Pat McAfee promo, oh yeah, the current product is weak because we got all these midgets running around and everything, and it sucks, and this had happened, and and yeah, this fan got left behind, and this needs some fine tuning ASAP because this definitely was not it. I know later on in the show, Cody Rhodes had came out after, this was long after Pat McAfee and Randy Orton had left the arena. They left in a Ram truck. Nothing like St. Louis, and you're rolling out in a Ram. I love that. So Cody Rhodes, he came back out much later on in the night, had some stuff that he wanted to get off his chest. And basically he and this was kind of funny too, because speaking of Kit Wilson, he actually came out right after the conclusion of R-Truth and Damian Priest retaining their tag titles. Um okay, match. I mean, you didn't feel that the titles were going to be going anywhere, because again, R-Truth and Damian Priest, they defended them against Kit Williams and the Miz. So you just felt you already knew the titles weren't going to go anywhere and all that. This was just basically a continuation of the whole Danhausen curse thing, and further enhancing, amplifying the chemistry going on between R-Truth and Damian Priest and all that. But Cody Rhodes showed up post match and hit Wilson with the crossroads. Cody then grabbing a microphone, cutting a quick promo on Randy and Pat McAfee. Cody admits to being surprised when it's all said and done, but he does reference it to it's like the third man in the NWO being Disco Inferno instead of Hulk Hogan. Okay, so now we're kind of get it. I like that. That was a nice little dig. He calls Pat Logan without muscles and a grifter. Then warns McAfee that he's definitely got a receipt coming to him. And yeah, that's gonna be some goddamn receipt and everything. Cody going on to say he knows who he's talking to, and if they want to fire him, it didn't work out for them last time. So basically, at this point, Cody is essentially saying, "Look, we know Pat McAfee. He knows the right people, and he's pretty good at ass kissing and all of that, and right. So it's kind of taking a little dig, not just at McAfee, but it's also kind of taking a dig at the higher ups and everything as." Cody says, well, Pat and everyone representing him can kiss his ass. And Cody's like, hey, he knows who he's talking to. Good little dig right there. He said this was supposed to be simple between Cody and Randy. Now even Stephanie is out saying that pretty much he should go to a dark place. Cody's pretty much going at this point. He isn't sure he even knows how to be that guy anymore. Brings up the fact that WWE actually isn't in a bad place. For God's sake, the man just wrestled John Cena, wrestled him at a WrestleMania, wrestled Roman Reigns at a WrestleMania back to back, wrestled The Rock at a WrestleMania. But most importantly, they were also wrestling him. Last thing, Cody admits that he's hearing voices in his head finally, but that you really don't want to hear what they have to say to him. So, you're looking at this and you're going, okay, well, you know what? This was good for Cody to show, God damn it, he can, and he is capable of getting mad, right? All right, there's some type of a fire that is lit under his ass. And everything. And it was nice basically hearing Cody say to Pat McAfee, fuck on me. No, seriously, saying fuck off, right? That's good and everything. Like, we need a fired up baby face and all that other good stuff, right? That's good. But now it's like, okay, the weeks that you're gonna string together going forward, like, how is this gonna go down? And if you got Cody saying, yo, Pat McAfee, I got a receipt coming for this dude, then like every single moment, like the way you got to do this with Pat McAfee can never be left walking alone by himself in an arena. Because now at this point, Cody just needs to be throwing out a couple of $100 bills and saying to whoever is watching throughout the arena amongst all the staff, officials, and all that. Yo, you see that motherfucker? Just shoot me a text quietly. Just shoot me a text. Let me know the location. And yo, if I'm able to get him, bonus couple of hundred for you, right? Us on site need to get Pat McAfee's ass. So it was good that they had McAfee and Orton drive off together like that. And that's how you need to continue to do that. If Cody's going to get his comeuppance at this point, come WrestleMania, like I'm down with that and everything. By the way, anybody feeling a little bit of fatigue from the celebrity fusion that we got going on heading into WrestleMania? No, not talking about John Cena. Have no issue with John Cena being the host. Like, he was a wrestler first and foremost. No issue with John Cena whatsoever. No issue with Logan Paul. Logan Paul has definitely paid his dues. But my God, the way this WrestleMania is shaping up, it is really all about the stars, isn't it? WWE is really, really relying on the stars to really help boost the hell out of those ticket sales for Las Vegas. Yeah. Now we're incorporating Jelly Roll. We incorporating I Show Speed. Now we fucking got my man Pat McAfee in the mix. But wait. Tonight we also had got Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty, hey, look, he's not my cup of tea, But I respect and love anybody that fucks with his music. But Lil Yachty, Lee loves his rap. I just ain't a fan of Lil Yachty. By the way, I still got beef with Lil Yachty's pizza. That was the nastiest fucking pizza that I have ever tasted. If you guys want to get an idea what I experienced with the Lil Yachty pizza, there is a foodie review of that up on the YouTube channel. But yeah, I'll never forget picking up Lil Yachty's pizza. He made it available in the frozen food section at your local Walmart, a couple of other chains, but I think it was primarily Walmart. I remember I picked that bad boy up, followed the instructions down to the T. That was the nastiest fucking pizza I ever had in my life. But Lil Yachty came out with Trick Williams. Now, I will tell you, the celebrity, overkill that we got going into WrestleMania this year, it's a bit too much. But man, when you stumble upon something that just works out so well, you want to see more of it. The Little Yachty Trick Williams combination tonight. Oh my God, that was fucking awesome. From the moment that Trick Williams came out, and then you're like, wait, who's that dude behind him? Like, who is that? Carmelo? Like, Tricky and Carmelo reunited? Was it turns out it's Lil Yachty. And then fucking Lil Yachty is just doing his little instigating as Trick is cutting his little promo and everything, putting down Sami Zayn, calling him the ginger man and ginger ale man and all kinds of ginger shit. I loved it. This was really, really good. No, I need to seriously. I would love to see more of Trick Williams and Lil Yachty. I did not know that was the combination that I needed. They flowed very well together. Trick Williams jacking Sami Zayn's pyro because Sami had asked if he could have pyro now that he's the new United States champion. And Nick Aldis is pretty much like, I wish Nick Aldis would have been like, yeah, sure. You want sprinkles with that too? Seriously, because this was just, wow, way to feed your fucking ego there, dude. Like, seriously? But yeah, Trick Williams jacked Sami Zayn's pyro, his camera time, promo time and all that in the ring. And eventually Sami Zayn came out. Thought it was real cute how Trick Williams was operating and everything. Carmelo Hayes ultimately came out and he said to Sami, hey, look, it only serves right that you give me my rematch. I've been a fighting champion and, pretty much Carmelo letting Sami know, hey, kind of how you did me, it was kind of dirty. Sami coming right back saying, yeah, look, you defended the championship. You did it for about 9-10 weeks, but you're the one that came out there and was putting out your open challenges and, hey, I stepped up and I pretty much gave you a challenge and you accepted. And, hey, I'm the new United States champion. So, if you want to crack at the championship, that's fine, but it's not going to happen at WrestleMania. Trick Williams pushing for Carmelo to be involved in WrestleMania, that basically it should be a 3-man dance and everything. This was a long, drawn-out segment. This segment had went way too long. I enjoyed laughing and seeing Trick and Yachty in the background doing the whole wrist thing because, yeah, it was definitely overkill. And I guess in retrospect, that was the whole point. We were supposed to feel irritated by Sami Zayn. We were supposed to feel like, dude, like, hurry up, make your fucking point already. We want to see a little bit more of the in-ring action here. Yeah, I guess Sami Zayn is supposed to get under our skin. And if that was the case, then mission was definitely accomplished right here. Ultimately, Sami Zayn saying, okay, Carmelo, we're going to have a match tonight. And it's simple. You beat me, you go on to WrestleMania. with the championship, you face Trick Williams. But if I win, that's it. It's going to be me defending the championship against Trick Williams. That's it. Deal. Carmelo's basically like, yeah, okay, whatever. So that main event match we had. Now there was a spot that happened where Carmelo had went over the top rope to crash into Sami, and when he did that, he kind of tweaked his ankle a bit. The way you see him land, you're going, okay, this is storyline. Let's see where they're gonna be going with this here. And basically, in the final moments of this one, Hayes had blocked the Blue Thunder bomb, connected with the first 48. Hayes then tried going up top. Sami avoids it. He avoided the nothing but net. And the left leg of Hayes gave out upon landing and all that. Ref is checking in on Hayes in the corner. Sami is salivating at the fact, I see an opportunity. Goes for the Halua kick. Just punched the shit out of Hayes. Retains the championship that way. And I love seeing Sami Hayes just kind of holding the championship, throwing it up like he just won a daytime Emmy or whatever. Like, I mean, he is acting like he has done the impossible, like it's the greatest accomplishment of his entire life and everything. And the crowd is just automatically booing this guy. And it's that little fine attention to detail, too, that I appreciate from Sami, where he's hearing the reactions. And if you go back and look at it, he actually stops smiling for a little bit. He quickly breaks the smile and he's kind of looking at the crowd like, what's wrong with you guys? It was a really cool touch that he did right there. Post match, Trick Williams, Lil Yachty, they get in there and everything. Yachty talks about how the match at WrestleMania is now going to be Sami versus Trick Williams and everything. Trick connects with a cheap shot on Sami. I mean, this is so hilarious because Trick Williams is getting the cheap attack and all that, beating the crap out of Sami Zayn. And the St. Louis crowd is eating this up. They are rooting on Trick Williams to whoop that Trick. Fucking hilarious. Seriously, hilarious. Now, as far as the match itself between Sami and Carmelo, I've seen these two have better matches together. This was not... it wasn't a bad match, but you'll definitely agree, those of you that have seen the other times that these two men have locked up, this, it was alright, but nothing to be writing home about and all that. Also, nice little touch that Trick Williams did not get involved in this whatsoever, because I gotta say, I was expecting a fuck finish that would ultimately see all three men at WrestleMania. So now we could still maybe see Carmelo get involved at WrestleMania. He could still be inserted. He could still be inserted. We shall see. We shall see. It really depends on what direction they want to go with that ankle. I mean, it could be a case where he's out indefinitely in storyline, or they could also go in a direction where Nick Aldis is maybe having a conversation with Carmelo Hayes and it's like, I made the match official last week. You agreed to the terms. Sami agreed to the terms, and it is what it is. But maybe Carmelo somehow figures out a way to create an opportunity, kind of similar to what Sami Zayn did. I kind of find it a little interesting how Sami is trying to hold on to some type of relevancy, but it's coming at the cost of desperate measures. I do like this little thread that we've got going on with Sami Zayn. I definitely I want to continue to enjoy the ride and experience this development, ongoing development that's going on with him. Let's see. So we got that. Talked about the tag match. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, they picked up a win over Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Nice little match. Nice effort by all four women. Um, I'm still just, we're still going in this multi women, tag thing. And then allegedly, I think it's Nikki Bella. Apparently, she landed on her ankle kind of wrong, and it's kind of touch and go with her right now as she's rehabbing. And allegedly, she should be ready in time for WrestleMania. Not sure how that's going to pan out, but yeah. So we got that going on. Alistair Black had a match tonight against Matt Cardona. Decent match. One of those paint by the numbers kind of matches and everything. Cardona is still selling the hell out of that left arm that is in the cast and everything. Alistair Black, dude still has a phenomenal build. Great fucking look and everything, but kind of what was going on with him the first rodeo in WWE after that steak has cooled off a little bit. It's kind of becoming a little lackluster, right? And if you don't refrigerate that steak and all that other good stuff, flavors, everything just, and what's going on with Aleister Black right now is a real travesty, because here is a phenomenal athlete in the ring that is pretty much without, I don't want to say direction, but it kind of feels like, okay, we see what's happening with this character, and we see what's happening with this character, and we see what's happening with this person on the road to WrestleMania and everything, and just somehow Aleister Black is just, he's just just chilling. He's just chilling. I would have enjoyed it more. And isn't it weird how it almost feels like the writers, okay, we're doing all this stuff for Danhausen, and we kind of don't have anything for Aleister Black. Now, there's a very interesting idea in itself right there. Somehow having Danhausen and Aleister Black kind of cross paths. Not for a wrestling match. I don't want you guys thinking for a wrestling match, but no, why not on the road to WrestleMania? You continue to have Aleister Black just kind of chilling backstage somewhere in his black suit, and he's just talking hot fucking trash. I know, for instance, it's been a good minute since we've seen Aleister Black and Sami Zayn have a little conversation. I want to see that shit get run back. I definitely want to see Aleister Black having a conversation, maybe with. I'm just thinking about who else he could be bumping into, just to be stirring the pot up a little bit. Shit, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, let him stir up the pot a little bit with Cody. Let him stir up the pot a little bit with Damian Priest and R-Truth, mainly Damian Priest. It's like there's so much more that you could be doing with Aleister Black, but the real question is, can you got the talent. So the real question is, can you be fun, witty, and creative enough where you can do all of these cool things? And if you can't do all of those things with him, then it's real easy to do. For fuck's sake, if we can come up with some interesting shit for Danhausen to do between both shows, to a certain extent, you should be able to do the same thing with Aleister Black. So really, really weird how we got things going on right now with Aleister. My whole point, if you're like me and you're a fan of Aleister Black, is like, can we get more? Can we do more with Aleister Black? That's not really asking too much. Let's see. Other than that, just thinking, what else from SmackDown? I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, Uncle Howdy was in a match. Almost forgot about that. Uncle Howdy picked up a victory over Tamatanga. Eh, slow burn cooker right here. The main gist of this was post match Solo and Tonga, they were bickering and everything. And Solo was trying to get the lantern back. And Tama Tonga was like, no, 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 no. This is over. We're just going to give him back the lantern. Like, we need to be done with this. Solo didn't like that. He was pretty pissed off about it. Fast forward, backstage segment. Tama told Solo, look, we need to get back to basics, get back to what we were doing before, which is kicking everybody's ass, taking all the championships that's up for grabs. You feel me? Solo's like, yeah, yeah, definitely, we can do that. But first things first, let's just once and for all, let's just be rid of the White Six. And then we can go do that. Deal? And Tom was like, yeah, deal. Solo, without Thomas seeing it, is kind of looking behind him, kind of giving him this dirty look. It's almost kind of similar to what Solo kind of did there with Roman Reigns a couple of years back. So, in retrospect, look, not every rivalry is going to be about landing on a pay-per-view and all of that, consecutive pay-per-views at that. Sometimes it's going to be a situation where you're going to have some things that just will continue to play itself on television each and every single week. And that's exactly what we got here with the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. The problem is you can make a good argument that this went on a little bit too long, had a bit of too much overkill, and as a result of that, like majority of the fans don't care. So this is a very positive direction if you are a fan of Tamatanga, if you are a fan of Solo, and you're like, wow, they are finally done with the fucking Wyatt Six. Like, this is great. Wyatt Six, man, boy, did that cool off so fucking fast, didn't it? Jesus Christ, that is just so sad. Really, really so sad. But the feud itself that was going on between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six, uh, in general, each time when I was tuning in to SmackDown and I was seeing what was going on, like this was definitely a channel changer. I know some people will maybe go a little bit more extreme and say this is just a waste of everybody's time and all of that. But look, the potential is off the charts for a solo Tama program. I mean that's gonna be really really popping. I mean they've already planted some really good seeds over the past couple of months of hey, look at what's going on here, right? Like eventually the chickens are gonna come home to roost right here for Solo Sokoa and all that. Wasn't there something with Drew McIntyre? I believe there was. There was a little video package for Drew McIntyre, and it was kind of funny because when you looked at the video package for his beef with Solo, no, with Jacob Fatu, where he's calling him a convict, and then you have this ugly ass banner that just pops up over like a black and white shot or whatever of Fatu, and it's like this red font text logo crap, white words, and it says convict. And you're just like, damn, you felt like you were watching a really bad uh political campaign ad and everything, as Drew McIntyre was like, "You are an absolute thorn in my side. You are worse than Roman Reigns, and the fact that I was dealing with the bloodline for a couple of years there. Now I'm dealing with you, and Drew McIntyre's like, you're far much worse than Roman Reigns and all that. But pretty much, Drew McIntyre was saying, gonna put you in your place. Pretty much gonna take you out once and for all. Talked about the fact that going into this year's WrestleMania, he should be walking in as the World Heavyweight Champion, and how Fatu pretty much screwed all that up and everything. So, nice little video package that they had going on, as McIntyre's like, you stole all that from me and everything. So, wasn't as good as the Jacob Fatu video from last week or the week prior. But still, relatively solid. I think other than that, Rhea Ripley was in action. She opened up SmackDown. Had a match with Mia Yim. I know she's called Michin, but I'm just used to calling her Mia Yim. Decent stuff. Like, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to give Mia Yim more opportunities and all of that good stuff. They're trying to figure out ways to try to help elevate her and everything. But um, I don't know. I don't know. Something about this just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. Nothing against Mia Yim. Nothing personal uh against her or anything, but I just kind of felt like, wow, we're really gonna go 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes. I wish there would have been more interference by Jade Cargill and B-Fab. I wish that on the road to WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley would have lost this match via disqualification, because there was just so much interference going on. And then, Jade Cargill, this was a great opportunity for creative to have Jade Cargill basically be talking mad trash to B-Fab and Mia, and be like, yo, you really bowdy? You about that life? You really down with me? Show me, right? How bad do you want this? How bad do you, like, you trying to be where I am? Where's that dog in you? I really wish that Jay Cargill would have been stirring the pot more like that. And yeah, this was just eh, okay match, but just I didn't like the way this was set up, honestly. Overall, I just didn't like it. Wish it could have went down the way I'm describing it. Post match, B-Fab attacked Rhea Ripley. Ripley head butted her down for a bit. Mia hits a chop block. Then all three women are attacking Ripley for a bit. Next thing you know, Io Sky comes out there pretty much for the save. The two of those girls, they're hugging it out. They catch up with a backstage interviewer where basically, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they're pulling their greatest Rescue Rangers Chippendale impersonations, talking about how they're best of friends and all that other good stuff. Rhea basically saying with friends like Io, she's going to be going into WrestleMania, definitely coming out as the new women's champion. Whatever, man. Whatever. Who's their third man going to be, though? That's the real question. They need a third man. They got to balance all of that out. But that all was pretty much SmackDown for this week. I didn't even put out a poll because, like I said, did not plan on doing the post show, but didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So I'm glad we ended up doing the post show anyway. But talking about SmackDown, we got loads more stuff that we can get into here tonight. I appreciate you guys that's welcoming me, whether it's in your home or maybe you're at work. Appreciate you guys that are tuning in right now. I definitely appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this out for on demand. Okay, this this SmackDown when it's all said and done, um, I mean, where do I begin? You had like 30 plus minute breaks between matches. Um, I mean, that's not really good. That's kind of really pushing it there. Um, Pat McAfee being revealed as the mystery caller, odd as fuck, really exposes the hell out of the creative writing, lack of creative writing from WWE. Um, we all could have done so much more with other people in that role and not Pat McAfee. Um, and that's the thing when it's all said and done. If this was Randy Orton from 2015 that was still struggling with cutting promos and all that, and we had Pat McAfee where he is right now as gifted on the microphone back then it's like, okay, this is a great combination. But Randy doesn't need anybody to talk for him. Randy has proven over the years it's taken him time. And I can remember being here on the older shows talking about how great of a challenger Randy Orton is when he's gunning after the championship. But that it's like afterwards, like it cools off extremely quick because he wasn't that good of a talker. But now, different man, different day, different year. I mean, he hangs with the best of them now. So, and that whole thing about the current era product sucks and he wants it to be better and all that. It's like, eh, eh. It's weird because if that was your best attempt at trying to be a heel, okay, you're shitting on the fact that WrestleMania tickets are not sold out. WWE is struggling to sell out WrestleMania. Okay. You had the lowest rated, SmackDown, okay, in recent weeks. Okay. Uh yeah, there's usually short guys that's wrestling on TV. That's not true, but whatever. But like if that's your best pitches for, yeah, the product sucks because all this is going on and everything, like that's not exactly going to get you booze. You're essentially stating facts. Lowest rated SmackDown. Okay, yeah, true. And WrestleMania tickets ain't sell. Yeah, okay, yeah, and like when are we supposed to boo you? Let us know now, because I think at this point we need like some type of a sign that says boo, or what was the Bush that was trying to run for president? Remember that giant? And he was like, "Please clap." It's like like that's Pat McAfee. Like please boo. Um, Jade and Ripley, they aren't clicking for the love of me. Like this is it's just not. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I've been waiting for them for the past couple of weeks to take it up to that next level. Nothing is there. Very troubling, especially with less than 2 weeks to go and all that. This was I won't say this was the worst SmackDowns I've seen in recent years, but it was definitely a very forgettable episode. Did not like the way that all of this was structured. Really, for me, the two biggest highlights of the entire show, I got to give it up to Lil Yachty and Trick Williams. I mean, they essentially stole the show. It was pretty good for what it was worth. And then the second thing that kind of stood out to me for what it was worth, I'm just looking at the rest of the card, kind of going through it here. You know what? I will say, I'm just looking through the rest of the card here. I'm just trying to see like if I could pull up one more good thing that I liked as far as tonight's show. No, there really no. Damn, y'all! I can't believe I'm saying that. That's yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, yeah. Uh, maybe you could try to convince me on Monday to pull up one more nice thing, but as it stands right now, the little Yachty Trick Williams, like that's all I got for you. Hey, have you been enjoying the show so far? If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit up the likes, retweets, all that jazz. If you're watching via YouTube, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. When you do that, you definitely help put more eyeballs on the content. So do that. Thanks. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe over there on the YouTube channel. Always uploading loads new content. So my girls are sleeping in the background, huh? I've got one kiddo that's licking my foot right now. And I see that my other two kiddos are on the sofa here sleeping, so that's good. Yeah, it's always nice. I will say this: when I have the place to myself for a few days, and it's just me and the girls, I will say, it seems like they bond with me even more. They're definitely all three of them. They're definitely mama's girls. Although I gotta say, Precious, she she's always looking for me. She's a mama's girl too, but she's a real daddy's girl. Like every time I could put her on the bed with the rest of the girls and I go downstairs and I'm trying to make myself something to eat, or maybe I'm just trying to kick back in the living room, watch a little TV. Precious will always come see what I'm doing and hang out with me. So it's it's always nice being able to have that extra little bit of bonding time with the girls and all that. By the way, shout out to Drew McIntyre while we're talking about pets. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. I saw just little bits and pieces of the interview that he did with Chris Van Vliet. And when Drew was mentioning the passing of his cat, the cat was already having some health issues, but just to see him tear up and almost completely break down, my heart just ached for that guy. And to anyone that has never owned a pet, like for whatever respected reason, you're really missing out. First and foremost, you're really missing out because whether it's a dog, a cat, a turtle, a rabbit, it's just, but particularly when it comes to a dog and cat, because they show the most personality and everything. Man, you think it's just gonna always just be one way, but like once they're in your life and in your home, life as you know it completely flips and everything. And It's a really cool experience. They really are extended family members. Uh, you really do treat them like a kid and everything. From I don't want them going outside in that kind of weather. Oh, let's see what kind of raincoat gear or winter gear. Let's see what we can get for them. Oh, this is going on with their tooth. We got to get them to the vet. We got to see if they can get cleaned up, if they can get taken out. Why is their pee smelling funny? Oh, they got a UTI. Oh, we got to take, it's like, and I've always had this saying, and I've said it for years. I don't say it enough here on the show, but those that know me in real life, they'll tell you. Um, I always say this, which is if you want to know a person's true character, watch how they treat the elderly, people with disability, children, and pets. Like that'll tell you all you need to know about that person's character. And the craziest like shit that I've ever heard in my entire life. I'll never forget. It was like some years back, and I heard an individual that said something like, I was in a grocery store, and like I was, I think I was buying some stuff, or I was visiting a coworker, maybe. I can't remember what it was, but there was this woman that was given the third degree for seeing a dog in the store. And I remember saying to the lady, I said, hey, not for nothing, but, I think that's a service dog. And I remember I went out of my way. I recognized this woman because, this was many, many, many years ago. And I remember saying to the woman, because I used to ring her up from time to time, and I would say, hey, how you doing? I say, hey, forgive me for asking. I said, but you see that woman over there? She's being an asshole. Um, you got a service dog there, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I thought so. Thanks. And I told the woman, I said, yeah, that's a service animal. And the woman still bitched about it. And she just had this sour patch look on her face. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to tell me, like, she be putting some foul shit in food that she tries giving the cats and dogs that she comes across in her neighborhood just to take them out. Because there's like that level of disdain that she has for animals. But yeah, she still was pissed off about seeing a dog in the store, even if it was a service animal. And I told her straight up, I said, well, if you got a problem with that, it's like the name of the store manager is da 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 da. Matter of fact, there he is right there. You can easily talk to him about it. You know what she did? Not a goddamn thing. All talk, all bark, no bite. That's what that was. But yeah, I saw that with Drew McIntyre, and I just was like, oh, that fucking sucks. So, thinking about you, Drew, you're definitely not alone, man. I remember when I lost my Pekingese, Maggie. I lost her as of this June, it'll be 2 years ago because we lost her. Actually, correction. No, no, no. We lost her in the month of May, and then Precious came June of 2024. Yeah. So Maggie passed away May 2024. I will never forget when she passed. It was just I won't bore you all with the details, but I can definitely tell you I bawled like a baby because I didn't raise Maggie when she was a pup. Like by the time I came in, I think at that point, Tams had Maggie for about, I think at that point, she had her for about maybe somewhere between 5 to 7 years or whatever. Because I remember asking Tams once Maggie passed, I said, yo, I said, so how long was Maggie around, like in human years? And Tams was like, she's like, I think 17 years. I'm like, really? She's like, I think, yeah. And I was like, wow, that's a nice run. She said, yeah, yeah, that's a real good run. She's like, if you treat them right, you stay on top of their health and all that. She was like, yeah, you can get a decent amount of years out of them. But yeah, I remember when Maggie had passed, I cried for days on end. It wasn't until Tams told me, after a couple of weeks had passed after Maggie's passing that, hey, I saw the signs. She was like, I didn't want to break your heart. And, because she would have good days. There'd be some days that would be really, really good. And then there'd be other days where it's like, oh man, come on, buddy. Come on, little buddy, kick out. Come on, you can do it. And yeah, it was rough. So trust me, when you lose that family pet, oh my God. Oof. It's the worst feeling in the world, man. It is one of the worst feelings in the world. So hey, let's switch it up a little bit. let's talk about Chris Jericho. I did watch AEW. I found myself doing a lot of fast forwarding. Felt very challenging to watch AEW. I've now kind of gotten to a point where it comes to AEW where unless something groundbreaking happens on the show, like the bread, the meat and potatoes and all that, it's really with their pay-per-views. That's kind of the point where I've kind of gotten to right now, because especially as I'm getting older, I'm finding personally, I don't know how it is for you all. Y'all can sound off and let me know. But I'm personally finding that, like, with all these wrestling promotions that's running around, my time can only go but in so many directions. And then I'm also thinking about, I need that mental reset too, where I can just detach from the wrestling and I can, get into other things and all that. And that's why, like, for me, I don't know how my friends in the podcasting world operate, but that's why I am very, very leery about who I talk to that's out of my inner circle. I'm very leery about who I talk to, and I casually say, "Hey, I do a podcast. I do a show in part where I talk about wrestling." I remember, and I won't be long winded. This is like 60 seconds or less. I remember when I was in community college some years back. Bless this guy's heart, but there was an individual that would, like, once he found out I did a podcast and I was talking about wrestling, he latched on to the fact that, okay, he's a wrestling fan, I'm a wrestling fan, and like every time he saw me, he always wanted to talk wrestling. And for me, and I was nice to him, but eventually I said to him in a very polite way, I said, yeah, I said, look, I said, I can't keep talking about wrestling. Like, I got to focus on the work here. I said, if you maybe want a thing or two after class, like maybe, but like even at that, um, like I do a show and I put everything into that show for that week. And then, that's pretty much, it's in the books, unless something breaking news happens, then yeah, I'm good. Um, but yeah, it was one of those, whew, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I've kind of, as I've gotten older, my whole thing is say less, but be mindful about what all is going on, at least in every promotion. Like, even if I'm not faithfully watching everything like I used to, just to at least know just enough of what's going on without driving myself crazy. Because my friends in the podcasting world will tell you, like, it's one of those ugly little, not really a secret, but it's one of those ugly little things that doesn't get talked about enough for podcasters. There is such a real thing as getting burned out. It may sound silly because it's like, well, all you got to do is just fucking sit there and watch the shit. It's like, no, it's so much more than that. You're sitting down, you're experiencing it, you're taking notes in real time, you're looking at it with the fan lens, and then depending on your level of, like, if you've got a media production background, a booking background, whatever, then you're also looking at that same show with that optical lens too, right? So it's very easy to just that the burnout, the fatigue, if you're not careful, it will fucking creep up on you, and it will just wham, just like that. Oh, sorry, Chloe, sorry. I said I won't do that again. That woke her up out of her sleep, and she's going. "Arr." But I saw the Chris Jericho return, and Jericho looks fantastic. Uh, I'm looking at him. I'm going, God damn, for 55, like, that looks good, man. Looks good, nice and slim. They were out there in Winnipeg, and I'm going, oh right, Jericho's back. Hey, all right. What you got, Jericho? What you got to say for yourself, man? We ain't seen you in like a year. What you got to say for yourself? And Jericho eventually grabs a microphone and he's just like, I'm home. AEW, I'm home. And that was it. I'm like, oh, okay. That was it. We didn't see him again for the rest of the night. I'm like, wow. Okay, so we kick off the show like that. We just rolled out Chris Jericho. No particular reason whatsoever. Just rolled him out. Cool. So let's talk about it. Everybody was playing fantasy booking with Chris Jericho in the WWE. We were here on this show. Some of you guys were leaving comments telling you, leave Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho. And you know me by now, if you're a long time fan of the show, I'm always going, let's just kick back and see how this shit's going to play out. Because a lot can happen. Let's just try to be open-minded. Hey, would it be nice? Like, yeah, but if you remember, there was something very distinct that I said here on the show. And it may sound familiar to you when I get ready to say this in regards to Jericho. I said to you guys, hey, look, when it's all said and done, WWE does not need Chris Jericho. With everything that they've got going on, the unlimited supply of talents, phenomenal up-and-coming talents that they have, they do not need Chris Jericho. Right down to the point, you're going to pay him, that good Brock Lesnar money and up? Like, nah, if you're WWE, you're not going to do that. So, how is Chris Jericho going to make up for not getting that Brock Lesnar and up kind of money? Well, could WWE allow him to go do his Fozzy touring? Could they allow him to go do his episodes of Dark Side of the Ring narration? Could they allow him to go do his Jericho cruise? Could they insert? And I said to you guys, that's a lot that Chris Jericho would have to sacrifice. And then, like, what would the immediate, like, short-term game be? Like, are you going to bring him in just to do a retirement tour and a Hall of Fame induction, and then that's pretty much it? Or is this a case where, yeah, we're going to eventually retire you, but we want to bring you in for at least a 2-year run? Or you got to commit to us for at least 3 years. I just did not see. Now, maybe if it was with Vince McMahon still at the helm, okay, maybe. But with Triple H, Paul Levesque, and I'm not even thinking about strained relationship between Jericho and Triple H, Paul Levesque. Paul Levesque doesn't see any value in it. I'm not even thinking, so don't even take my words out of context. Like, I don't think there's any beef, and I'm just looking at things from strictly a WWE creative standpoint. Like, Jericho being back in WWE, like, it's great. It's great for, like, you know what? I hate to go with a food analogy, but this shit is real because it's been happening to me all week long. Papa John's has this great deal. This ties back to Chris Jericho. Just stay with me. So Papa John's has this great deal that's going on this week. You probably saw it on TV or heard it, radio, podcast ad, Spotify ad or whatever, where you buy one pizza at regular price, you get another one for free. Good God Almighty, that sound woo, 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 woo. Okay, now I took advantage of that. I think I put in the order. What day was that? I put in an order on Wednesday. I put in the order for the pizza on Wednesday. Got the pizza on Wednesday, and the shit was funny because, The shit was funny because actually, you know what? Or was it Tuesday? I'm trying to think. Was it Tuesday or was it Wednesday? It was actually Wednesday. And I got a text message from the wife. You know, she's on her cruise and she gets a notification on her phone and she's like, she sees the pizza being dropped off at the doorstep. And she's like, what did we get? And I was like, oh, we got some Papa John's. Yeah, I told her what kind of pizza pies I got and all that. But yeah, you know, that first day, even second day, yeah, that pizza's bomb. That third day, that fourth day that you still got pizza, you're like, you're trying the air fryer, you're trying everything to try to jazz it up, but you just like, man, I'm tired of this shit. Did I really have to get 2 pizza pies? No, you greedy fuck. You know, but you know, I'm like, that's Jericho. Jericho is like, yo, yo, Jericho come in there piping hot. Yo, hey, all right, Jericho. You know, but after a couple of weeks, Jericho cools off, man. And then it's like, eh. So what else we got? It almost kind of reminds me to that of remember how it was when Ricochet was first on Monday Night Raw? Remember the what's the move that he likes doing? Remember that move? Oh man, we thought that was like one of the coolest fucking things since sliced bread number 2. But then after like, what did it take? What did it take? 2 months? 3 months? Let's be gracious. Let's say 3 months. After 3 months, it's like, yeah. So what else you got? You know, that sadly would be Chris Jericho in WWE. And they're not gonna pay him what he really wants. And they're not gonna give him the creative freedom for his other projects like AEW is doing. You know, I I never doubt, and this isn't me talking high and mighty or after the fact. You know, if you're very observant, you know, you're really paying attention to what I'd be saying here on the show. I always kind of felt like, I don't know about Jericho. I don't know about that. So to see that he is still working with AEW, you know, good. That's good. And if Meltzer is saying, you know, hey, you know, he did talk with WWE. This is what they wanted to do, but you know, Tony Khan basically had the offer he couldn't refuse. And now you got Meltzer saying that as far as Jericho, maybe eventually returning to the WWE after this current deal in AEW is up and all that. Like basically there's a fat chance of that happening. Like pretty much Jericho's gonna finish out in in AEW. I could see that happening. He's 55 right now. So, you know, if they do ink a new deal, I wouldn't be surprised if, first of all, and I can't wait to hear the details. Because last I heard, like you all, basically Tony Khan had the Jericho contract was set to expire in 2025, but Tony Khan had slapped on some additional time. He extended it, you know, because Jericho was out for a bit. Now the question becomes, okay, so the contract got extended, but was a new contract inked? That's what I'm most curious to know. Because if a new contract did get inked, then it becomes okay. So how many more years is this particular contract going to be? And I predict that I'm predicting that Tony Khan and Chris Jericho, either they have already inked out a new deal or it will be inked and finalized by the time AEW gets ready to do their next pay-per-view, which, hang on here, AEW, hang on. So I know, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so they just got done doing Revolution. So the next one is going to be Dynasty. Dynasty is going to be happening on Sunday, April 12th. I have a feeling that Tony Khan is going to reveal as early as then new deal has been inked with Chris Jericho. And I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it's going to be a 5-year deal. I also would not be surprised to hear Chris Jericho say something along the lines of, as far as a in ring, being an in ring competitor goes, like this is his last deal, right? As far as an in ring wrestler, like this will be his last contract as an in ring competitor, and it's going to take him through age 60, and then he's pretty much done. And then, not to mention all of the additional responsibilities slash roles that he has behind the scenes there allegedly in AEW. So, you're not going to rock the boat a little bit. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the day, Jericho was using his savvy business skills, his social media marketing team, putting out some little, oh, Jericho's talking about going back to WWE. Like, it happens. It fucking happens. But get that money. Get that money, man. Seriously, get that money. I'm happy for the guy. Seriously, I'm happy for the guy. But at the same time, I'm looking at AEW and I'm literally going, Jesus, what more can this guy do in AEW? What more is there for him to do? Like, legit. We shall see. We shall see. Let's see. Congratulations to Thunder Rosa. Apparently she's inked a dual contract. So not only is she doing her thing still with AEW, but she is also doing stuff with CMLL apparently. So pretty cool what's going on with her. Rosa has said in an article for Record that she would be working for CMLL for the rest of the year. So she now joins Hechincero, Claudio Casanoli, Persephone, and Mascara Dorada, and Mystico as stars who are on contracts with both AEW and CMLL. Remember, she last competed for AEW. It was going back to March 4th. I actually watched that episode. She had faced Thelka for the AEW Women's Championship, where Thelka retained. So good for Thunder Rosa and everybody else. I love hearing that. I have not had an opportunity to sit down and look at the Janelle Grant new information that has come out regarding the WWE Vince McMahon lawsuit. There is a lot of stuff that needs to be unpacked with that. And I have honestly not had the opportunity to really sit down, and I haven't even been able to skim any of the documents. So this weekend, I'm looking to sit down and do that, and I'll definitely be able to talk about it on the Monday show and give you guys my thoughts about it. The timing of this too is great because with me majoring in journalism, one of my classes particularly, they matter of fact, just this week they taught us how to properly go into court documents, different websites, how we need to, as members of the journalism community, how we need to talk to members of the police department, things of that nature. So I'm definitely going to be sitting through a highlighter, going through all the stuff that's in there because it's a lot. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm going to be talking about on Monday, that I understand first and foremost what it is that I'm reading, especially if there's any particular weird kind of funny language that, needs to be broken down and all that. So, but Monday we're definitely going to talk about it. Shout out to my girl, Valentina Rosie, or is it Rossi? She was presented with a WWE ID contract. This is somebody who I have been telling you about off and on this show for many, many years. If you actually go back to my hang on a second here. If you actually go back to my WoW Women of Wrestling days when I was posting up reviews and all that for the show, she wrestled as Adriana Gambino. And man, go back to my Wild Women of Wrestling post shows. You can find the playlist on the YouTube channel. I was putting this girl over big time. I mean, she had one on orthodox move set, kind of Booker T-ish, if you will. And I used to love watching her beat a motherfucker's ass, because when she would beat a motherfucker's ass, she would go, just like an Italian, she a mobster. She'd throw the hands up and she's like, "That's amore," when she's beating somebody up. I used to pop so damn good, man. I'm happy for her though. She was presented with a WWE ID contract, the information and all that. It was a cool video that was posted on social media, I think earlier today, where it showed Sean Spears presenting Rossi with her WWE ID contract. So that's really awesome. I put a big old smile on my face going into the weekend, because with all the hard work that I've seen her put in over the years, if anybody deserves an opportunity like that, definitely her. Now, how about my girl Marina Tucker? How about her? I would love to see her get a opportunity to maybe get a WWE ID contract. She's known as, in part, the Detroit Barbie. If you're watching WoW Women of Wrestling, she's another one, and I had the fortunate pleasure of interviewing her some years back. If she's still doing her thing with the WoW promotion, look her up. She wrestles for them under the name Penelope Pink. She's another one that I'm like, yo, this girl is awesome. I have had people that have hit me up on the show, hit me up from the show, from WoW, few times, let me know about interview opportunities, and I sadly had to say, "Nah, I'm sorry, I'm not available. My studies, I got all this going on." And they've been very, very kind to me. They're like, "Hey, whenever you're back on the saddle again, let us know. We love to." And I was telling the wife about this a couple of days ago. I said, "Man, I know for a Ma and Pa show, we're kind of under the radar for a lot of people, which makes it much more intimate as a result for people that do know about the shows, and they're tuning in however they're tuning in, and they're checking out the shit. Like, that's great, and everything. But it's nice when you're in a position where, when you've been around for as long as I've been around, you get people that have you in mind, and they hit you up and they're like, "Hey, would you like to do this interview?" Right down to the point. I'm not saying this, just for the hell of it. Didn't even plan on mentioning this next part, but I had representatives for a WWE Hall of Famer reach out to me and go, "Hey, would you be interested in interviewing this person for your show. Not only, does this person have a podcast of their own, which is very successful, but, dot. And I actually went back and forth doing this interview or not. I actually went back and forth. And I was talking to the family about it, and they were like, so what's the problem here? Like, you should be jumping all over this. Like, this is a great opportunity. Like, you want when somebody hits you up, and like you really shouldn't be shooting shit like this down. Former WWE World Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, has worked for multiple promotions. If I say the next hint, you all may figure out instantly who it is, but I'm gonna leave it right there. And I told them, I said, well, my main concern is with all of the work that I'm doing this current semester, like my course load, it's a lot. The studying that I gotta somehow figure out how to sandwich in there. My biggest fear was that I really would not be able to dedicate the time to really have that go down the way I would like it to go down. That was my biggest fear. And normally my gut instinct when I listen to it, it's spot on. Especially if I even get the slightest little bit of hesitation, like very seldom am I wrong. So my gut was telling me, bow out this time, but leave the door open. And so I hit their team back and I said, hey, I appreciate you guys. First and foremost, great honor, that, you would hit me up and see if I'd be interested. Like, you really have no idea, like, the smile I got, seeing you all had reached out. But yeah, like with my current semester, like I don't think I'd be able to do this interview justice. But, any press releases, any news you want me to pass along, from their shows, appearances, like, go ahead, send it my way, like, no problem. And, we can definitely at a later date when things get freed up, we can definitely do that sit down. And they responded right back and they were like, yeah, cool. Cause I even said a little thing like, hey, extend my, and if I mention that, y'all are going to know who I'm talking about. So I can't mention that part either. But I was like, hey, could you, give them a heads up and let them know XYZ? And they were like, oh yeah, they'll be happy to hear that. Yeah, sure. And like, yeah, we'll definitely send you some stuff. There'll definitely be some more opportunities. It's like, okay, bet. So that made my day. Like, seriously, that legit, made my day. Put a big old smile when I was seeing that. Let's see. By the way, despite however we may feel about AEW, and all of that, I know some people were like, hey, look, man, AEW ratings wise, it hit a 8-week high as viewership kind of ticked down a little bit. So this past Wednesday's Dynamite did a 0.15 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, 730,000 viewers. So not too shabby what's going on with them. Your man still keeps track of the numbers here and there. I may not be talking about it, but I'm still keeping track of everything that's been going on. Let's see. Also, I'm aware of the one story that's running around where Obafemi and Dominic Mysterio, they were confronted by autograph scalpers. Did you all see what all was going on with that? There's a video that is floating around on social media. I want to try to see if I might be able to download this because it's on Twitter. If I can download it, then that is Nope, I cannot download it. But if you go on Twitter, look up the Twitter user Shoot or Work. And basically, you can see Obafemi. And by the looks of it, if I were to blow this up, it looks like Oba is, yep, I said hotel. I was thinking hotel, and now I'm saying it out loud. I'm like, that looked like a Hyatt. Because just the way it was set up, I'm like, because your man does have his favorites. Yeah. So Obafemi is outside of this Hyatt Regency hotel. He's in street clothes, just looks like a normal guy. He's got all his luggage with him. He's chilling outside. He's on his phone, texting who knows who. And we see this person with a Springsteen, what is this, Broadway? Yeah, Springsteen Broadway jacket on. He's got a hood over. A couple of women go past Oba as they're trying to go inside. I'm giving you the play by play as I'm watching this in real time. And there's people that's just walking past Oba, but somebody's got a camera on him. As people just continue to walk past. Boy, this is like the most boring 45 seconds I've ever seen in my life here. Is anything gonna? Oh, okay. So something is happening. Somebody is walking up to him. Okay, let's play this with audio because now I gotta hear this. I gotta hear this. And how come I can't hear this? You all can probably hear this, but I cannot hear nothing. Hang on. Let's turn on closed captioning. And since I can't hear anything, okay, what's going on here? So he's just minding his own business over Femi, just looking at his phone. Oh my God, you don't like we knew. Well, it is scalpers. Holy shit. It looks like it's about 10 of these guys. Hang on, let me go back and look at this again. How many? So we got one guy. Hang on here. One guy. Holy shit. One guy, two guys, three guys. Oh, this is in New York. Oh, no wonder. Yeah, this shit would happen in New York City. Oh my God. I'm not surprised now. I knew that hotel looked familiar. Yeah, that's a really nice hotel. If you're in New York City, Hyatt Regency. I recommend the Hyatt Regency or what was the one I had stayed at? There's also a Hilton Hotel in Hell's Kitchen, still in New York City. It's like about maybe 7 blocks away from Times Square, but really good. Really, really don't sleep on that one. That one's actually really good. So let me see how many motherfuckers this is here. All right, so we got one guy, navy blue coat, older black man with a red hat, red long sleeve sweater. Look like he holding some shit in his hand. Then we got a young black dude, red hat, red sweater. It's interesting. We got the older black man with the same color scheme, but he's got a red baseball cap on. The older black dude, he looks like he's in his late 40s, early 50s, and the younger black guy that's standing next to him looks like maybe he's in his late 20s, early 30s. But it looks like he's holding something as well. So that's three people. Four, we got a guy with a hoodie holding his phone. That's four people. That's four. So it's just those four people. Okay. Would have loved it had I been able to get a full 360 perspective, like basically seeing the other side. But yeah, so this this was really, really shitty what was going on here. Oh, there's a part two. Let's see how they did poor Dominic Mysterio. All right, so Dominic's got on a white hoodie, he's got on a black hat, he's trying to be discreet. He's trying to go right into the hotel. Oh wow, and whoever was filming, wow, they're zooming in. Oh, there's the same black dude from before. Hey, yeah, the same black son of a bitch from before. Wow. Wow. People, I cannot believe I have to say this yet again. This is not what a wow. This I'm a little pissed off reading this. I gotta admit to you guys. Um this is disgusting. This is disgusting. Please, people, if you happen to find out where your favorite wrestler, entertainer, athlete, actor are staying, if they happen to be in your neck of the woods or whatever, it does not give you the right to go to the hotel or the gym that they're at and harass them for autographs and all that shit. You don't get a right to that. There's a time and a place for that. If they happen to be doing a meet and greet somewhere, that is where you want to take advantage and be like, hey, and come up out of your pocket and do like everybody else. It's sad to see this type of behavior is still ongoing in 2026 and beyond, where we've got individuals that are stalking these people outside of airports, outside of gyms, outside of restaurants, outside of hotels. Um, it's really weird too, isn't it? Because there's like this weird sense of entitlement and an unhealthy obsession at the same time. It's very, very weird. You know, I've seen my fair share of celebrities off and on over the years, and when I have seen them, man, there's nothing they love, respect, and appreciate more than when you just treat them like a regular person and you just are like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Hey, fan of your work. Keep up the good work." I mean that's really it. I mean, these people at the end of the day, they've already spent X amount of time traveling on the road, trying to make sure they meet this flight connection, and this. And then keeping in mind that this shit had happened, New York City, thinking about everything that was going on, that's going on currently with the partial government shutdown, and how ICE agents have been sent out to various airports. I know the New York airport definitely had some serious delays as far as waiting in lines and all that. You know, God, these people, these wrestlers, they're tired. They are tired. They are definitely experiencing their fair share of long lines and all that other shit. And at the end, they trying to chill. They trying to get to their room. They trying to relax. All that. They ain't got time to be dealing with Sam, Juan, Frank, and James that's got like 100 items each that they're trying to get these wrestlers to fucking sign and all that. Um, If you really want their autograph, you want their picture so badly, fucking go to a signing. Fucking go to a signing. No problem. I tell you what, do you one better. You don't want to go to a signing? Man, you got guys like High Spots, signed by superstars. There's plenty of guys that are doing virtual things where you can, if you want a unique autograph and inscription, you'll be able to do that. You just care about get that autograph of that celebrity. Some of those same outlets, they can hook you up, and you just go on their website, type in the name, you can see who it is you're trying to get, and go from there. I mean, this is really, really, that was really, really unhealthy. I gotta tell you, I gotta look this up now because I gotta hear the audio. I sadly cannot hear the audio from the way some of these people like were talking during all this. So I gotta, you gotta forgive me because now I got to know what was happening with the audio here. So let's see, shoot or work. There's my guy. All right, I want to hear the audio in this here. Come on, where are you, dude? Oh, wow. This guy apparently uploads clips from some of the shows, too, throughout the week, including tonight's SmackDown. My God. Okay, where is he? My God, dude. Did you really have to put up all these fucking clips? I get it. He's trying to take advantage of his 15 minutes of fame. I get it. Okay, Dominic Mysterio. Let's see what we got here. Dominic, would you mind signing?
Can you do a picture for her?
Can you do a picture for her? Holy shit. Are you serious? Somebody actually. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let's connect this. I want you guys to hear this. I can't believe what I just heard. Bluetooth settings. Where's the road? There we go. Let's connect to the road. Tell me I did not just hear that. Okay. I think you guys will now be able to hear this.
Dami, would you mind signing? Yeah, what about pictures?
Can you do a picture for her?
I can't believe that. So the guy goes, "Can you take a picture? Can you take a picture for her?" Dom is just minding his own damn business, trying to do his thing. Have a heart. Don't forget, we made you. Without us, you ain't shit. What the flying fuck, man? Like, seriously. To all these wrestlers, like, please know that this is not the mindset of all fans in general. I would like to believe that you all have been around long enough to know, and you got enough common sense to know that not every single fan, not the majority of wrestling fans, are thinking like this. Because if they are, that is really fucking unhealthy. And, where is the self-accountability here? You are stalking wrestlers that somehow you got information that they were going to be at this hotel. And then even if you weren't stalking and you just kind of got like, well, hey, I'm just doing a process of elimination, and I'm working with some friends, we got these main hotels covered. So, if we see one, then it's safe to assume everybody's going to be probably at this hotel. Like, no matter how you want to spin it, you're basically stalking these locations in hopes that you can get autograph, photo ops, and see, and that's the other thing that these people don't realize. If they say yes to one person, then you got to do it for the next person, and you got to do it for the next person, and the person after that, and the person after that. And that's just no. You do it the right way. You go to a damn meet and greet or go to the actual show, and you do it that way. Now, let me see how they did Obafemi. Let's go back to that, because now I can hear the audio, and you all can hear the audio too. So let's load up the Obafemi joint. Okay. For some reason, it's loading. I don't know why it's loading. Our internet. There we go. They aren't saying anything. Still ain't saying nothing to him. I don't know why this guy's video is buffering. It's not me. Come on. We only got 20 seconds left. Come on, finish it out. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Oh, okay. Hang on.
Oh my God! He don't like me neither.
They're gonna beat my ass. Oh, he don't like me either. Stupid. Just stupid. Don't even get me started more on that topic, because I'm already fired up on that, and it's already like past 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't need to get any more upset over that. But please, people, do better. Please, that's not asking too much. Be better. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Like, honestly, if you treat them like human fucking beings and you just go, hey, big fan of your work, appreciate you. I can't think of which wrestler it is, but there's one wrestler. God, I wish I could remember their name. But they said something like, hey, if somebody wants my autograph, I just give them my digital version of my autograph. And basically it's like something that they put on their notepad or whatever. And they were like, and that's how I'm able to hook some of the fans up. And I was like, that's an interesting thought. That's a nice little new concept. Nothing compared to what I had said a while back, where I said, another cool thing would be if the wrestler does their autograph in a certain way, where it's like when you see that autograph from that wrestler, they autographed it when they were out on the streets, versus, hey, if you meet me at an actual wrestling event or at a meet and greet, you'll get the actual signature, versus, oh, well, this is a street autograph. Like, it's a big difference. I know some of you guys are hearing that and you're like, that sounds kind of confusing. It's like certain people will do autographs a certain way, and it's like very, very distinct, because they'll be able to, I've actually seen this at play, where some people will autograph something for the sole purpose of knowing, oh, this is from the street. It was kind of their way of keeping track on if whatever they were autographing would pop up on eBay. Because that's, at the end of the day, what a lot of these motherfuckers are trying to do when it's all said and done. Hey, the updated card for TNA Rebellion is now up. And we also have the updated card for NXT Stand and Deliver. So this is how everything is looking. Let's start with TNA Rebellion. And remember, Rebellion is going to be happening on Saturday, April 11th. Cleveland, Ohio is going to be available on pay-per-view. Right now, we got Moose taking on Agent Zero. AJ Francis versus Nick Nemeth. Frankie Kazarian faces Elijah. Hardcore Country, the Elegance brand versus Mickey James, ODB, Taryn Terrell. Elsewhere, the TNA World Tag Team titles will be defended. Hardys take on the System. TNA X Division Championship match, Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander. For the Knockouts Championship, Ariana Grace faces Li Yang Lee. Intercontinental Championship on the line, Trey Miguel faces Mustafa Ali. And for the TNA World Championship, Mike Santana defends against Eddie Edwards. This will be at the Wolstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Show will air on TNA Plus for those of you interested. Pay-per-view is going to be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, April 11th. And then meanwhile, NXT Stand and Deliver, we know that's going to be coming up Saturday, April 4th. I will be streaming on YouTube for those of you in the United States and then internationally via Netflix. Way that card is looking right now, 7 matches. We got Hank and Tank, Shiloh Hill, EK Prosper, and Rern Sinclair versus the Birthright, Lexus King, Stax, Charlie Dempsey, Yuri Connors, and Ariana Grace. 10-person mixed tag team match. Meanwhile, the Vanity Project take on Los Americanos. Tag match for the NXT tag team titles. Miles Bourne defends the NXT North American Championship against Johnny Gargano. Johnny's trying to get back to basics. Capture some NXT Days of Glory. My girl JC Jane defends the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat match against Kendall Gray. Just gave that girl a lot of praise. Once again, you got to look up that match between her and Lola Vice from NXT this past week. Great match. But JC Jane defends the NXT Women's Championship against Kendall Gray and Lola Vice. Triple threat. Sol Ruka takes on Zarya one-on-one. Tatum Paxley defends the NXT Women's North American Championship against Blake Monroe. And your main event match, Joe Hendry defends his NXT Championship against Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Tony D'Angelo. Just a little bit that I recall from NXT off and on the past couple of weeks. If I were to pick some winners right now, and that one match, that 10-person mixed tag match, that's a pre-show match. I don't really have any personal, but if I'm going to go, I'm going to say Hank and Tank and Sinclair over the Birthright and Ariana Grace. And then for the NXT tag titles, I am going to go with I'll go with the Vanity Project. I got Miles Bourne retaining the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano. Man, I love that Kendall Gray. JC Jane. I don't know. I almost want to say Lola Vice, but this is a tough one. I'll go with JC Jane for the retain. I'll take Zarya over Sol Ruka. I'll take Blake Monroe over Tatum Paxley. I'll take Tony D'Angelo coming out as your new NXT champion. Let me know what you guys are thinking for NXT Stand and Deliver. So should be a good weekend. I don't think I'm going to do a post show. I don't think so. But I just may surprise you. As long as you guys are staying connected throughout social media, you'll definitely know if I'm going to end up doing a post show or not. Hey, before we get ready to dip out of here, I definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors, because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. Shout out to the good folks over at dnpdaniels.com, where healthcare isn't just clinical, it's human. RX for Humanity is a powerful digital guide for nurses, students, and healthcare professionals ready to confront bias and practice with deeper compassion and accountability, featuring real ER stories, practical strategies, and tools you can apply right at the bedside. Download your copy today over at dnpdaniels.com. You can also follow Dr. Brittany Daniels all on her socials by looking up Black Queer Nurse. So shout out to her. Once again, that site, dnpdaniels.com. The RCWR show with Lee Sanders is also brought to you in part by Questions for Cancer Doctors via q4cd.com. If you've recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer or know someone that recently has been diagnosed with prostate cancer, before making treatment decisions, get clarity from someone who's been there. Questions for Cancer Doctors, q4cd.com. Dr. Williams, a retired lieutenant colonel and radiation oncologist, helps men and veterans understand their option and asks the right questions before moving forward. Download the book and schedule a private one-on-one consultation today at q4cd.com. q4cd.com, because the right questions lead to the right decisions. Appreciate both of our sponsors for this episode. Also, much love to new listeners, subscribers, longtime supporters, Patreon backers, friends of the shows as well. Appreciate you guys as always. And yeah, so stay connected on social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Use the keywords, the RCWR show, especially if I decide I'm going to do a stand and deliver post show. Like I said, I'm on the fence, but we'll see what'll happen. I could do it. I may do it. You never know. Just stay connected. You can also be kind and rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed for on demand and on the downloads. Just search the RCWR show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all. Take care.